A very warm welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 Global. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. And today joining me live is the former Chief of Staff to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Mr. George Birnbaum, joins me live. Many thanks to you, Mr. Birnbaum, for joining in right now. But, you're also known as the father of populism, and you've also helped two populist leaders like Benjamin Netanyahu and the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban to rise to power. How do you assess accusations that Israel is paying the price for supporting a populist leader like Netanyahu and also paying the price for Israel's internal political unrest?
I think the only price that Israel is paying for is for the fact that we're Jews. How many years, how many decades, centuries, millennia does Jewish blood have to spill precisely because we're Jews? Let me remind everybody that after the birth of the state of Israel in 1948, Israel wanted one thing: peaceful coexistence with its Arab neighbors. We shook the hand of Anwar Sadat in 1979, a man with blood on his hands, to make peace. We shook the hand of King Hussein in 2006 in order to make peace. And three prime ministers, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, shook the hand of Yasser Arafat, a man with the blood of Jewish women and children on his hands, in order to try and make peace. The only people that are to blame for not having peace is Hamas. There's no other group to blame. If the Palestinians want coexistence, if they want peace, the only way they're going to get it is by getting rid of Hamas. But until now, they have proven one thing. Unlike the Jordanians, unlike the Egyptians, they do not want peace. They don't want peace. Right. They got war. And war is what we're going to have to wage to get rid of Hamas.
That's why I want to ask you, Mr. Birnbaum. Even the Israeli Prime Minister, Mr. Netanyahu, has gone on to say that Hamas is ISIS. That only underscores the sort of gravity of the global threat that Hamas is currently posing. How do you assess what explains the emboldening of Hamas, and how closely do you correlate the modus operandi in which Hamas is now functioning like Daesh and ISIS?
Sure. I don't think Hamas is any more radical than it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Hamas is clearly a barbaric terrorist organization that doesn't care about human life, that doesn't care about the Palestinian people, that doesn't care about peace or coexistence. They live for one thing. They live for pouring the blood of innocent people. Now, they have probably gotten the help financially, militarily, strategically, of broader organizations, bigger organizations, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's Iran. But let's also not forget, they've also had the help of Qatar. Qatar has harbored and allowed the leadership of Hamas to live the life of luxury and peace for years. While the people in the West Bank and in the Gaza Strip suffer, the leadership of Hamas is sitting in Qatar living their best lives. So there are a lot of people to blame here. And the people of the government of Qatar are accountable for the Jewish blood that has been spilled in the past few days. So we have to understand that Hamas doesn't act alone. Hamas is not emboldened alone. Hamas is able to carry this type of attack out because of the help they get from their friends in Iran and Qatar.
Mr. Birnbaum, it's very interesting that you mention the role of many others when it comes to Hamas growing in strength and influence. That's why I want to ask you, in your view, what is the role of the decrepit state of Palestinian politics? Remember, at the same time, there's much frustration about corruption within Palestine and its politics. There's also no clear succession plan for the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's understand that. When in 2006, when Ariel Sharon decided and announced the disengagement from Gaza and pulled all the Jewish settlements out of Gaza, and we left all the infrastructure there. We left the greenhouses, and we left the roads, and we left the housing. We were told that we would see the Singapore of the Middle East. The Singapore of the Middle East is what Hamas promised us.
Right.
And what do we get? We have babies being beheaded, women raped, and children shot from their parents. That's not the Singapore of the Middle East. And so the problem that the Palestinian people face is not with Israel. It's with their own leadership. Mahmoud Abbas is not allowed an election in I don't know how many years. They are not allowed to democratically choose their leadership. For us to have peaceful coexistence with the Palestinians, which every Israeli wants. No Israeli wants their sons and daughters to go into the army. No Israeli wants their sons and daughters to risk their lives on a daily basis. We want peace, just like we shook the hands of the Egyptians, the Jordanians. And recently we did it with the Emiratis and with the people in Bahrain. And I believe we will do it with the Saudis as well.
Let's not forget, in January, there was a report that said that the Pentagon had sent massive stockpiles which were reserved in Israeli warehouses to Ukraine. So clearly, the $2 billion aid package that's also being crafted in US right now is also meant to sort of compensate for that stockpile that's been sent to Ukraine.
Yes, well, understand that since the war of Ukraine has broken out, the Western nations have ramped up their production of munitions and weapons. And so I do believe that there won't be a shortage of what Israel needs. What Israel needs most is what it's getting. It's getting a replenishment of its Iron Dome missiles. Remember, Iron Dome, the difference between Israel and Hamas is we build weapons to defend human life. They build weapons to destroy human life. We're going to be getting that. Plus the U.S., they're parking their aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean, and the whole aircraft carrier group. Those are equipped with cruise missiles. They're equipped with other weapons that may be of use if need be. So I think Israel will be okay. Ukraine, I hope they get what they need, because the Ukrainian people also need to defeat the evil that's on their eastern front.
At a time when this conflict is now expected to widen further, the Abraham Accords are also expected to come under stress. China, of course, facilitated that deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, because of which they're also saying that Riyadh may not be in a position to accept the US efforts to now facilitate a deal between Israel and the Saudis. How do you see the impact of this war on West Asia and the larger Arab world?
Well, I think what we've been seeing is a trend, and that is that the larger Arab world recognizes that it's time to live in peace and coexistence with the Jewish state and the Jewish people. And I think while this set of events may delay it a little bit, it's not going to stop it. Because at the end of the day, mothers want to see their children grow up. At the end of the day, we're starting to witness in the rest of our world what Golda Meir said many, many years ago, that there'll be peace with the Arabs when they learn to love their children the way the Jews love theirs. We've made peace with Bahrain. We've made peace with the Emiratis. We're going to make peace with the Saudis. I think the broader Arab world will still make peace with Israel. Right now, the one group that doesn't love their children the way the rest of the world does is Hamas.
Right.
And until we wipe them out, there will not be peace.